back to Unleashed. I'm your host, Jared Beeler. This is going to be a quick little video about a little story I wanted to tell you guys, but just real quick. Man, I was just watching True News, and I don't watch these guys other than to just hear sometimes what they're talking about. But it's just, the deception is just unrealistic. And if you guys don't know what True News is, Rick Wiles, he's a total anti-Israel replacement theologist, absolutely hates the Jews, all right? And, when he's having comments in the sections coming from Turkey and people in Iran that are saying, oh, yes, absolutely, you speak the truth, brother, and this is coming from Islamic, people, there's definitely a problem if you're claiming to be a Christian like he is. But it's just the end times deception and the mass amount of just false teaching that is just off the charts everywhere. Every single place you can look. I've never seen it so bad. If you have not been walking with God, reading the Word daily, the Bible, and praying to Him, you can get swept up in this stuff, and it's really bad. And I tried to warn you guys about this for a long time and stuff. I have some dates, and this year is just lining up perfectly, okay? And I've had them for a while. You guys know I set on this stuff, and each year I calculate different things and when it's going to work. Each year, just like a flower, basically blooming. It seems to be unfolding. New stuff gets taught to me. God shows me a new thing, new lineup. You guys have heard me talk before that tribulation will be an aspect, it looks like, of Gog and Magog. Some sort of peace deal out of Europe will happen at the time that'll confirm it or whatever. I'm guessing this is going to happen around September 24th or 3rd of this year, which will give 1,290 days to around Passover 2023. From this time, of course, you get your exact days, what you need, line up for Daniel's prophecy to take place, also coming in around the Feast of Trumpets, which will be the fulfillment of the second coming, not the rapture, the second coming, when those who are in heaven ride back with Jesus to start the 1,000-year reign, okay? And this looks good. But as I've said, if World War III and Gog and Magog is to take place before this, and this is what it looks like through other people's prophecies and talks with God and things like that, then it would take place this summer. If this Nibiru system thing is to come through like they believe it does in the time period that it does, with the breakdown of Revelation, how I work my way back, and I'm not going to do it right now, then there's no other choice. This thing has to go down this year if their timeline is the way it is, because we've broken down the numbers. So it looks like it'll be taking place anywhere between late spring and early summer, okay? And that's super exciting for those looking to get out of here. One confirmation after another through people's dreams and visions, absolutely. You guys know the story with me. You guys know what I've been up to for the past 5 years, okay? I've been out trying to talk to people one-on-one basis, started the channel, preaching, telling people the truth about stuff. I know the Bible extremely well. I have a personal relationship with God, and I've been walking with Him for a very, very long time, since I was just a boy when I was 6. He's showing me lots of different things, and I have some special gifts that other people don't have. But all this is just absolutely pointing to one thing after another. A few weeks ago, before I started this job, I prayed to God. I was like, hey, God, and these were basically my exact words. I'm like, if we're really at the end, the job bouncing, the terrible jobs, these people, I'm like, oh, it's brutal. I'm like, could I get into a job that would be great with good coworkers and decent pay where I don't have to worry about the stress or anything like that right now, but only if it's at the end. If there's time to still continue and my timeline's off of this looking like it's about to start this early spring or late spring and summer, we'll keep going, just keep bouncing me between jobs, and I'll talk to whoever I can. But if not, and this is finally at the end of the line, please, that would be great if you could hook me up with something, and we could ease off of this and take that stress off for right now. And of course, if there's anybody there at that job that needs to talk to, I'll be happy to talk to him. Just bring him my way, and I'll talk to him, okay? So this is what I said. Next morning, I get the phone call, I get hired at this job. I've been looking for a job like this since 2014. Total answered prayer. Every single thing that I prayed and asked for, including my coworkers and how good it's going, it's been perfectly, okay? So this to me totally feels like a confirmation of exactly what I was saying if this is at the end. But it gets even more confirmation, and I'm going to tell you guys this story in just a minute, okay? It's about my coworker that just got saved, okay? Just like I was praying about, if there's anybody that needs to hear anything like that, bring them to me. But this story is going to be very good. You guys are going to like this, okay? But I wanted to bring something up real fast. I want to show you the confusion. Rick Wiles' channel, like I said, total replacement theologist. He's streaming along people that are just absolute. It's terrible. But I want to read one of these comments real fast that I commented on. True News, thank you for your amazing work. So sad to see so many deceived Christians willingly walking into Hades. Many will spend eternity in hellfire for supporting Israel. All right? That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, okay? Okay, no, it's not, all right? There's plenty of stupid comments out there. But this just goes to show you the mentality, okay? It's what I've talked about. We're Nazis, all right, that I will see will be like, yes, Hitler was doing right by killing the Jews. Us true Jews are whites with blue eyes, all right? I'll see you in heaven, brother. Yes, God bless. What the hell did I just look at, okay? I've seen it tons of times, right, all over the place, and it's out there, and I mean, it's just one thing after another, through Flat Earth and everything else, which I told you, the Lord told me that they were under a curse. After going back and looking, because I already saw something on them, start discovering that some of the head leaders in this are totally into Satanism and stuff like that, and there's a blindness taking place over these people, okay? It's their brand, okay? Flat Earth, like I've said before, for some of the other secret stuff they're believing in, whether it's mixing New Age and other things with God, or having secret beliefs and stuff like that. They're replacement theologists and stuff, but it's out there, okay? It's taking place all the time. And I've warned you guys about this. John 16, okay? I want to read this to you. This is Jesus' words. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think they doeth God's service, okay? All right, this is exactly how it's going. And they will kill Christians when the tribulation happens, okay? There's two ways you can look at false teachers, pastors and such like that would get left behind. One is they fess up and tell the truth and they get stoned. They will be killed by their own congregations because they will know the truth. Or they save their own skin and jump in with the New World Order and say, no, it really was aliens that took them in the rapture and stuff like that. Those were bad people and all this other stuff, right? To save their own skin. And then what do? Those people that are coming against them say, no, it really was a rapture. They persecute them to stay safe, and thereby damning themselves even more, okay? This is a real thing that's going to take place. Real Christians will turn to save their own skin. And, of course, it'll only get more towards the end of the tribulation when Satan will tell them and their demons, you think God will forgive you for this? Which he will if you hit your knees, and repent. You think God will forgive you for this? No, you don't. But I have a plan to beat God. Join me. And there will be people that will literally do that to try and join the forces of darkness to beat God. The stupidest idea that anybody could ever have. But they will do it. And this is all absolutely real, okay? I'm going to read a little bit further. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things I have told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. All right? Jesus warns of this. He's been warning the whole time. All right? We are at the end. This is the end of the line. And I couldn't be more happy, because this has gone longer than I was expecting. And for the years, as it keeps unfolding, I've been hoping that it was going to be over with, And it hasn't. We continued on. So here I am still talking about it and stuff, but pointing out different things, and I share my different ideas. Especially if it's going to help, all right, and answer questions. There's lots of people out there that turn off the comments. I force myself not to, even though I want to a lot of times, to answer people's questions. They can ask for prayer and things like that, and I'm happy to do that in any way that I can, all right? So I take the beating for you so that you can ask questions and things, all right? But I want to finish this up real fast with this story. Okay, so I show up at work and I start talking to my coworkers, all right? And what am I doing? The same thing. I'm always doing planting seeds. I'm working on people right now. I'm working on a coffee girl and some other people. I'm working on ways all the time. I'm always concentrating and trying to find a way where I can tell them about Jesus and how I'm going to present this to them, and mapping out each plan strategic-wise. And it's what I've been doing for years now, okay? Nobody's going to stop me. This is what I do, okay? And that's all I care about, trying to bring people to God, especially if I see any character, any honor, and whatsoever. I fight for them as much as I can. But God fights for people too, all right? And this is an example of it in this story. As I'm talking to my coworker for a couple weeks, dropping seeds here and there, talking about secrets, and I'm bringing it back to the Bible. Yeah, it says this in the Bible. Yeah, it says this in the Bible. Well, finally it hooked with my coworker, who's a nice guy, 59-year-old man, and he asked me, he's like, have you ever read the Bible before? Which I replied, yes, I have. Actually, I told you guys that I wake up in the morning a little bit earlier, and the reason why is because I read a couple chapters every single morning, and I pray, and I've read the whole thing multiple times. And I was happy to tell him that. And as soon as I said that, he said, a few weeks ago, I had a dream, and I don't usually dream, and or when I do, I can't remember it. But this one stuck out with me, and it's really been bothering me, and maybe you can help me with this. And I'm like, okay, so what happened? And he tells me, in the dream, there was chaos everywhere, pandemonium. People were running. There didn't seem to be any sort of law and order. I couldn't figure out what was happening, and it was so real. I was calling out to my wife, and I won't tell you exactly what happened with that situation, but I couldn't find her, and she wasn't there. And I ended up screaming out, "Jesus, save me!" at the top of my lungs, and saying that he believed in him. And then he woke up from it, and he woke up sweating, went to the bathroom, came back in, set up, talked to his wife, told her the dream, the majority of it anyways, and told her about it. He said that it was so real, and it seemed like he just experienced it and he didn't know what to think, but it's been bothering him for a while. All right, this is a Nebuchadnezzar situation. He doesn't even realize it, okay, at the time. So he tells me this dream, and he goes, "I don't know what to make of it." And he goes, "I think it's something called the rapture. Do you happen to know anything about that?" And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me, right? I'm like, this guy couldn't be asking anybody else that could tell him more about this if he tried, and it's almost like a sense of humor, because God, like I say, God will fight for people. Well, come to find out, this my partner, he's been wanting to have a relationship with Jesus again. His grandparents were saved, but it was when he was just a young kid, and he used to hear about it and stuff like that, and he asked the Lord into his heart, but it wasn't something he felt it was real, and he wanted to recommit, but he didn't know how. And so he'd been talking about it and thinking about it, right? And when you start to do that, when you start to push out, when you start to reach for God, he will reach back. And he will bend heaven and earth, all right, to make things happen for you. He will fight for you in so many different ways, okay? And the same thing happened with my partner in this situation. So I'm like, and we're mechanics, so I'm like, let's jump in the car, let's go for a drive. And I told him everything as we went driving. I told him who I really was, what I actually do, what I started in 2014, all the jobs that I've had, and I'm like, God will send me into each job. He will give me a target, or pick it out, or help me find one, and then those people will talk to me, and then I will start to tell them all of this. And my partner goes, "That's exactly what's happening right now, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's exactly what's happening right now, and good for you to notice it." After I just told you the story, so you're involved in the very story itself. So there's like this thing taking over. Wow, this whole thing is real, right? And I told him about the rapture, what he envisioned. He was left behind in this dream, right? This vision that he was showing, and it was absolutely terrifying, and he didn't want that to happen. So we get back, and he's asking me all kinds of questions and things like that, and it's great. And he wants to know because he wants to do it right. And I tell him, I'm like, well, you're gonna mess up anyways. It happens with all of us, but you repent when you do this, and you keep walking closer with him, and don't expect to know all this stuff that I'm telling you right now. I know a lot of things, and it can be overwhelming, but go ahead and choose to follow him, and do this. And he did. And a few days ago, he decided to do it, and he made the choice. Yes, Jesus to come to his heart, forgive him. He chose to believe in him and follow him from this day forward. Couldn't be more proud of him. It's so awesome. It's exciting. And while we're working together, you can ask me any questions, and I'm happy to tell him stories and stuff like that, all right? The point is, what he did was he just changed his destiny, and this gives me hope, because I believe that if you can be shown the future, if you can see it, just like my vision, all right, that I was showing, that the future can be chosen, because God will do anything, all right? And even if time is set in stone, you can go to God. Even if you're a flat earther, even if you're more deceived and unbelievable, you can't go to man, you can't go to me, even if I'm telling you, all right? But you can always go to God. And if he sees your heart is true, and if you're sincere about it, he will pull you out of whatever mess that you're in, okay? And he will change time for you, and it's a real thing and a real possibility, okay? This is what my coworker has done. It's a real thing, okay? He was just showing the tribulation. And now he has the answer, and then he got saved, okay? And you can see God's hand completely in this whole ordeal, all right? And it's another sign. Like I said, it's exactly what I prayed. If we're really at the end, that this is it. And you guys know how I roll. I already have some dates figured out, all right? Do I know the exact date? Of course not. I cannot give you a guarantee on this. But do I have some things calculated out? Of course I do. And I've been looking at it for several months now, okay? Now, if I have a standard job and there's no ordeal, which is what I believe will happen because it'll be like a day, business as usual, then I'm not going to have time to be anywhere during a weekday, okay? Could this change if Mount St. Yellowstone or something blue? Yeah, of course, totally. But if it's not, I'm going to be in Sandpoint on a weekend occasion, okay? So what have I done? I've looked at this, when it would happen, timelines, what I'd be up there for, probably fishing with my uncle or something like that, all right, on a weekend. Possibly like an earlier in the month weekend because that's when the pay would come in and it wouldn't be for like rent or anything like that, all right? And then I've cross-referenced if there's any feast days that have to be happening at that time. The major ones. You guys know what I'm talking about. Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost, Feast of Trumpets, Feast of Atonement, all that stuff. And you guys know that since last year, when God told me Feast of Trumpets is for the second coming, that's not something I'm looking at. So there is one towards the end of spring and summer. And when does it fall on? It just happens to be falling on a weekend, okay, at the same time. So for a few months, I have had this time picked out already, okay? All right, so knowing that, I keep my mouth shut and I watch and I see what happens, okay? Now, more stuff keeps coming forward. More stuff keeps coming forward. Not only with my stepdad, when he's selling his boat the previous month, which means he's not going to be living in Florida, all right, just like the vision. He's coming towards me, okay? But not only that, but now the new Kushner deal with the peace deal just happens to be said that that's when they're going to bring it out. Is the same week that I'm talking about, all right? And when I see that stuff lining up with the time that I have already picked, that I'm just watching to see what will happen, it definitely raises red flags, all right? I see the war fronts taking place. It's getting amped up. It's hard to believe that we haven't even jumped into it already, but, you know, as severe as it's looked so far, it's still held off because it's going to be in God's time and it's going to be perfect timing, okay? All right. For those looking for 3 days of darkness, you're looking for folly, okay? This is a false preaching. It's false teaching. I've told you guys this several times. Can somebody be a Christian and dream of 3 days of darkness? Of course you can. There are Christians that are going to heaven that have dreamed about hell, okay? There's things that happen all the time. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a dream. I've dreamed of being in heaven several times. Do I talk about it with you guys? No, of course not, because it's not a rapture vision, all right? Have I dreamed of the rapture? Yes, sure. But it has not, those do not come to pass. This one has come to pass, every single one. Do you understand? That's why I talk about it, because it was a vision in the future. It was shown to be the future, all right? And it's still playing out that way. So until that were to be completely changed for any reason, then I'm going to do that, okay? But the 3 days of darkness, okay, there's problems with it right off the bat. One is, it's not scriptural at all, okay? The only time I've heard of it is in Mormonism, which is a false teaching, and Roman Catholicism, okay? Another is that it would be a warning. There is no warning for the rapture, okay? It comes unexpectedly. You wouldn't know, you're not going to know, nor is there an end-time revival, okay? The only revival will be coming in the tribulation, when people get spanked. The rapture is a reward, an A+ for those that are walking with God at their worst time. When you have all the options in the world, you're middle-aged, you're not looking at death or anything else, and you still choose to walk with God and push the way of the world, okay? It's a special reward. Everybody's given the option, few will find it, okay? That's another point. Another is to hide, all right, with candles from demons and stuff like that. As a Christian, you are never told to hide from the forces of darkness. You're to boldly stand against them, rebuking them, and standing in the authority of the King of Kings who is in you when you ask him into your heart, all right? Jesus Christ. There is more power in your little finger for those that are walking with him than anything that the devils can try to throw out against you. So to hide, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, all right? This cowardice will never find its way around me, okay? And you guys know that that's not how I am. So all this days of darkness, if you guys are looking for that, I think that's going to happen first. It's not. This is a false teaching, okay? And you guys have asked that plenty of time in the comments, all right? I figured it would be apparent, but apparently it's not. And that's because most of you aren't reading the Bible like I keep telling you to do, okay? So that you don't get swept up in this stuff. What happens if the computer or something goes down, or the internet or whatever else, and you're relying on people? If you don't have that firm foundation by walking with God yourself, you're going to be in trouble, okay? So read the Bible and talk to God, okay? This is just a little warning I wanted to point out. This thing is ripe, and I mean seriously ripe. And as I usually say, if it comes sooner than I think, oh, glory to God, I can't wait. The sooner we get out of here, the better. But I do have a timeline, and it looks like June, okay? I'll let you guys figure out the rest. I won't give you the dates because then you'll just bitch at me for giving the dates, all right? So this is what I got, and you guys need to be looking up. For those who've not repented, I tell you this out of kindness, okay? You got to let it go. You straight up got to let it go. That'll be the lesson during the tribulation if you go into it, okay? you at least start heading in that direction. You ask for forgiveness. You admit that you're sinning and doing something against God. You're not following Him. And you ask for forgiveness to come in. This is not a work, okay? This is absolutely what you have to do, and it's part of your original commitment when you said that you would follow Jesus. You've pushed away the world. You don't have anything to do with it. So to let it come back in your life is something that we can all deal with at times, all right? And it happens. But you realize it. You step away from it again. You push it back, and you commit your life to Jesus and following God, okay? And this is what you do. If you do not, you will be left behind. That's all there is to it, all right? Little story, a little warning, and just wanted to get this out real quick and make a quick video, okay? Time's up. Time is seriously up, and this looks like it's it finally, okay? And I couldn't be more happy, but if you're not ready, you will be left behind. If you are ready, well, look up for your redemption draw tonight, because this thing's about to fly. All right, God bless. I'll catch you next time in the unleashing. Bye.